What's worked for me, and I think which is pretty unique and pretty simple, is the simplicity of how Speakeasy's facilitation takes place. It looks at the core of an individual and tries to identify what works for you, your working styles, and you're able to set out your own goals, your own actions in terms of delivering against your expectations. I believe that as a group we are able to develop ourselves and understand our brand pretty well. I think in today's day and time, building on your personal brand and the group brand is pretty important in terms of how you want to deliver and want others to view and expect to see you. But I think one of the key aspects that we've been able to identify, and I've started seeing from my team, is a bit of introspection, and it's not just about me, but it's how I'm reflected and perceived by others. And that's worked pretty well. I've also seen that my team's able to create more space to deal with the things that matters rather than the clutter in your daily workload. Those are some of the key wins that I've seen from my team, rather than being busy, but being consciously aware of what is important rather than just being busy.
Coaching that we undertook with Speakeasy was extremely challenging. It stretched our minds. It didn't allow us to go into a comfort zone. It didn't allow us to, so to speak, wing certain sessions because it was unearthed. It also allowed us to put our personal views and our personal mindsets into what we do. And then from that transcend that into the working and professional environment. It also allowed us to do group sessions, which is important because we can understand holistically where our colleagues are coming from that we work with on a day-to-day basis, and then understand how we need to interact with those colleagues, but also what flags our colleagues in certain situations so that we are more cognizant of how we approach certain matters with our colleagues.
Absolutely. I think there's one specific unique element that I've learned to realize personally, and that's around your communication style, and the different words you use and the approach when you are engaging on certain matters, and ultimately how that gets translated by the receiving party. I think that's always been an element that you kind of ignore in your normal day-to-day life, but through some of the coaching and the training and personal learnings as well through this journey, that's what you actually get to realize. It definitely has been a major shift in terms of how we engage with each other prior to the coaching being done versus what we've actually got now. There's been a tremendous improvement in terms of how we firstly recognize each other's blind spots. Because we've worked very closely together, it becomes crucial to understand each other's weaknesses at times, how to get the best out of each other. And definitely to look at areas as a team and have a team goal and quite a clear vision over and above what we would normally have from a business strategy perspective, but ideally as what represents our team. And I think at one stage we were even calling ourselves the Transformers, again relevant to that time in terms of how we wanted to transform the environment. So those are matters and ideas and discussions, and I think the evolution that we've seen in the last year and a half at least. Prior to these sessions and the group discussions, there was minimal engagement within the entire group that's inclusive of our operations managers. What we're seeing now is a lot more of structured discussions and very efficient decision making, where initially they would have to wait for myself and Vimal before making a decision. So I think if we need to measure anything, we can really just look at some of the historical decisions versus what we are seeing now, and those are coming out at a much quicker rate.
Well, on that as well, perfect to what Leanda is saying, is that they are now giving each other feedback. So the decisions that are coming out are based on discussions valuable, intriguing discussions around which path to follow. Whereas previously they would work in silos and make decisions based on that. However, now as well is that it's not only discussions based on work outputs, it's discussions on how each one approaches a task, time that they take to approach tasks, meeting times. They don't wait for the other to set up meeting sessions, to prepare for anything. They do it unilaterally. If you're looking for more tangibles as well, you can look at the attrition. The attrition of our people speaks directly to the leadership. Our attrition for the past 7-8 months has been at 1%. That goes directly speaking to the leadership that we have.
But for me personally, I've been able to identify what's important, prioritize it, set expectations, whether it be on my personal life as well as my working experience in life. But also I think people appreciate the honesty. When it's time to work hard, you work harder, but you manage expectations, and when you need time out as well, if that's clearly understood, and I think everybody has a clear understanding why it's necessary. I think Maurice's style is quite collaborative. It's not very instructive, so it's always able to see how you feel about things. Find it to be quite accommodating and pretty flexible at the same time. But I think she really takes on some of the key attributes that you may want and the ideas that you want to build on, and she hones in on that and expands on it. So it's more about what your personal needs are rather than just giving you a generic cover as to what she believes is the right way to coach you.